Hi, I'm Stefan, the BMW DIY guy. Do you want to change the brake pads on your F48 X1? I'll show you how. All right, y'all, so let's walk through this process and the reasons why. You're going to probably want to do this yourself to save a bunch of money. Now, we're dealing with our brakes. Pretty vital system. So maybe you've got the brake warning, maybe you don't, maybe you're getting close, maybe after an oil change you just found out that your brake pads are really, really low. This isn't a hard project, only takes a few simple tools. And remember, everything you need will be listed in the video description below, from tools to torque values to everything else, so make sure to check that out. I'm going to walk you through changing the front and rear brake pads and brake sensors on this BMW X1. This is an F48 or a 2017. And also keep in mind these instructions can work for a couple of different models of Mini Coopers since they're essentially the same car, just a different shell over the top. But I'm going to walk you through this. Now, the car isn't going to be up in the air today, and I always say this on any project where we've got the car up in the air. You can use jacks and jack stands, you can use Quickjacks like over my shoulder, anything like that. Be really careful while you do it. If you do use a jack, please make sure to use a jack stand. Don't bet your life on a 50-cent part, okay? So be really careful while you do this, and you can walk through this process really, really easily. So the very first thing we're gonna do is get the car up in the air and get the wheels off. I'm gonna show you really only one front wheel and one back wheel, the wheels with the sensors on them. The other sides are essentially identical. So that way we can actually look at the ones that matter. So the front wheel that has the sensor and the back wheel that has the sensor, and the other two will be exactly the same. All right, so the first thing you want to do is get your car up in the air. Go ahead and get your front wheel off. That's going to be a 17mm wheel socket, and we'll get started. All right, also let's get started here. Obviously, I've got the wheel off on the driver's side front. This is the one that has the wear sensor on it right here that you can see. We're going to be swapping that wear sensor out. The other side's going to be exactly the same, just minus the wear sensor. So I want to show you the corners that have the wear sensor because the other corners are just going to be just slightly simpler. So I've gotten the wheel off. If you have a locking lug nut, make sure that you have the correct socket for that to take it out. Taking the wheel off and set it aside, and I've turned the wheel out so you can see this a little bit better. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out this bottom 13mm bolt right here and then hinge the caliper upwards to get the brake pads out. But let me use the top one as an example because it's a little bit easier to see. You can see this hexagonal nut here back on the other side of the bolt. Sometimes when you take this 13mm bolt out, this will spin. Now you can use a pair of locking vice grips like this to get a hold of it, just to keep it from spinning, to break that 13mm free here on the bottom. And then we're going to hinge this upwards. And then we can take the brake pads out themselves. We'll also be unplugging, so go ahead and pull the brake wear sensor where it's clipped in here to the brake pad. We're going to pull that off, and we're going to walk it off all the way back up here, and we're going to replace it with a new one, which is what you do every time. Okay, so go ahead and take this 13mm out, hinge this upwards, and get your brake pads out. So if you're working with an OEM kit of pads, it actually comes with replacement 13mm bolts here, top and bottom, so you can potentially replace all four on both sides when you feel like it. But as you can see, once you get this up and out of place, it doesn't matter if you break the sensor cable, because I mean this clip didn't want to come off, but it doesn't matter because we're replacing it. You can see that these brake pads definitely needed to be replaced. The wear light was on in the car for the brakes. Now if we look at the new ones, you can see they're just these little metal clips that hold it in place. So you're going to want to gently pry the brake pads out on both sides. They go out that way and out that way to come out. And then we're going to look to fit the new ones in, but we're also going to have to press back the piston here as well to give enough room. And we're going to replace the cable. So go ahead and get your brake pads out, then we're going to replace this cable next. All right, so now that the brake pads are out, let's look at them really quickly. So notice that the sensor pad goes to the inside, so this is on the inside of the wheel well, and the pads themselves will look a little bit different. The one that takes the sensor has this notch in the top and a little bit of an expanded hump here at the top, where the outside, as you can see, is more just open. So make sure that you put the right ones in the right places. But as you can tell, yeah, brake job is overdue. All right, so when you look at the sensor cable itself, obviously it's off on this end. It just fits into this little metal arm right here, so you'll just wiggle this out. Same thing back here, it's sitting back into this clip right here, so you'll pull it out of that clip. Go ahead and take out the 8mm that's right there, the expanding rivet that's right there, and the 8mm at the top. And then you can pull the plastic back enough, and I'll get you at a better angle so you can see it a little bit better, where this cable comes up and connects to the wiring harness right here. So you'll unplug that, put the new one in, route it down in the same places, and have the sensor hanging free until we have the new pads in. All right, so just so you can see here, you can see where the brake sensor connects right here in those little clips. Go ahead and pull that out, depress the little tab, unplug the old one, plug the new one in, and route it through all of the same spots, and then have the end of it just hanging here so we can put the new brake pads in. Okay, so you can see I've got one brake pad in place just to show you what it looks like. It just slides into place with these little clips, help holding it in with a little bit of tension. You can put brake pad grease here and here on these little clips, also in these little gaps, just to cut down on squeaking. Now, as far as depressing your caliper, there are specialized tools that you can use that will grab onto the side and push them back. I found that you don't have to be that fancy. I'm a big fan of a big C-clip, or a big C-clamp, excuse me, as long as you're gentle, right? Because it's only going to be on one side, and I just very slowly crank it back. In addition, that's pushing brake fluid back into your reservoir, so you want to do it slowly to get this compressed back about as far as it's going to go. Because in this case, especially with the brake pad on this side being so worn, that piston is out about as far as it's going to be. So we want to press it back into place so you can fit it around the new one. You can see the new brake sensor is ready to go. Keep in mind that this has to fit over the top through the gap up here once this caliper is back down in place. The other thing about this is when you look at it, and it should really only fit just one way, but just in case, do you see the bump? That's what was missing on the old cable because the light was on. That bump should be facing inwards towards the pad, towards the rotor itself. That's what gets worn off and turns the light on in your car. Okay, so go ahead and get the brake pad bit on this side, fit it into place. Make sure that it's the gapped one set up for the sensor right here. As you can see, we'll fit that in, and then we'll slide the caliper back down and fit the brake sensor cable back over the top. Okay, so once you have both brake pads on and you've guided that brake sensor in, again, remember the bump goes to the inside. You put it back in its little loop right here, make sure it's connected back here and back here. You can put your fender plastic back into place that I've kind of bent out so you can get to that right now. That's that 2 8mm there, and the little expanding rivet right here. So put that all back and that'll be good to go. And then you can put your 13mm bolt back in here. Since the OEM kit comes with replacements for both these bolts, you might as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the new one in here at 35 Newton meters. I'm going to hold the bolt on the back here with my vice grips. Same thing here. So once this is in and set, I'll take this one out and replace it and refresh it as well. Might as well since I have the bolts. So I'll get that both done. And then we'll put the wheel back on and this set will be done. After that, we'll just move right back to the back. All right, so as you can see the wheels on, one last look here before we move on. I've put the wheel on, I've put the lugs in that typical star pattern to cinch them down. They're just snug right now. We'll torque them once we're on the ground. I'll have the torque values for you once we get there. And then we're gonna move to the passenger side rear because that's the other brake pads, or brake rotor and pads that actually have the sensor on them. The other two are simpler than these because they don't have the sensors. So let's move back to the passenger side rear. All right. So here we are on the passenger side of the car. This is really straightforward. It's just a little bit different from the fronts. So first of all, you have the spring clip. Generally what you want to do is press from this side so you can take a tool like a wrench or a screwdriver and press forward to get the hooks to disengage right here, and then the hooks will come forward and the spring will fall off. That is what provides tension here to your caliper. Then on the back, you have two, these are 7mm Allens. Make sure to take the caps out, top and bottom. These guide pins, you're gonna wanna take both of those guide pins out, back them out. You can see where they're secured right here and they'll back out, and then this will be loose. Then you can wiggle this off away from the brake pads. So what you don't wanna do is have this hang on any of the cables or any of the brake sensors. So what you're gonna wanna do is also, in addition right here, you're gonna see a very large cable right here. You're going to want to back this out of its clip, and then there's a plug where it's plugged in right here. There's a little tab on the back that you press on this, and then the plug will come off. It's a little hard to do one-handed right at the moment. There we go. Haha, got it. So then just back this out of its hanger right here, pull this aside. Now keep in mind you also have your brake sensor cable right here, so if you wanted to, you could start to loosen it up. And again, it doesn't really matter if we break it because we're going to replace it, but we don't want to put undue stress on the rest of this. So pull the spring clip, back out with a 7mm Allen, back out both of these guide pins, swing this off, and then either hang it or set the caliper on top of a box or something so you don't put any tension on any of the motors itself. All right, so once you have the caliper pulled off, you'll see your brake pads. Remember that the one with the little clips goes to the inside. So both of these just slide out like you've done before, really super simple. And these really weren't too bad, but if I'm gonna do it, I might as well do them all. Now, here's the one thing about these X1s. They have an electronic parking brake on both sides. So you're gonna have to do this on both sides. Now there's ways, if you've got the right tools, to plug into your car and tell it to retract the parking brake. If you don't have it, which is the way I'm gonna show you, it's pretty darn simple. So you have two T30 bolts here and here. Take both of those out and then grab the motor and very gently lift, and it'll lift up and away. And then we're gonna basically just back the gearing on the parking brake itself. So go ahead and get the motor off and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so as you can see, the motor's off right here, and you can see the gearing that the motor connects to. Now, on some of these, the drive shaft is actually on the motor. In this case, it's actually on the piston. If you don't have the one with the drive shaft here, it's just a T45. Put in a T45 socket and turn it clockwise. In this case, just take this and turn it clockwise. So what this is doing is this is retracting the electronic parking brake far enough that we can actually put the piston and push it back in, because if you don't, the piston won't retract. So this is a way of getting around having specialized tools or having to be able to electronically tell the car to retract all of this. So you just turn it, and that's as far as it's gonna go. So now I can take a C-clamp like we did on the front, attach a C-clamp very gently here and here, and press the piston back into place. And then we can start to put it all back together. All right, so retract the piston, put the motor back on, put those two T30s back on snug, and then we can fit the caliper back up into place. All right, so following the brake sensor up, you can see where it's this top one back behind, it goes back behind your strut. And you can see if you take out this 1/8mm right here, you can very easily get to the plug right there. So just pull it out of its clips, press the little locking tab to unlock it, pull it off, install the new cable, put it back into the same clips as you come down, and then let it hang where we're gonna install it into the brake pad here in just a second. Okay, so go ahead and swap the cable out next. Okay, so go ahead and place the new brake pads in. Remember that the ones with the little wire clips go on the back, and you don't put the sensor in yet. And again, a reminder on the sensor, when we do clip it in, it's gonna be clipped in with the bump towards the rotor. So it's going to go in on the inside one towards the rotor, but it goes through the caliper, through the top of the caliper. So don't put it on yet. So go ahead and take the caliper, fit it back up into place. You're going to put those two guide pins back in. Those guide pins are 30 Newton meters when you put them back into place. So just get both those guide pins in. Go ahead and get your brake cable back into the correct, that rubber guide that goes over your brake bleeder nozzle. Go ahead and get your big sensor plugged back in. We've got that big cable that's going to hang down and plug back in. This guy right here plugs in, and it also goes back into its clip. And then all of this goes back together, and it's really straightforward. Let's get caught up to that point, and then we'll put our retaining clip back in. All right, also go ahead and give it a walkthrough and make sure that everything is reconnected. You have your sensor here at the top plugged in. You have your 8mm secure holding on your fender liner. The wire is in all of its clips as it comes down, all the way down here. It's the little flap that also covers your brake bleed nozzle is over the top holding onto the cable, and you've put the sensor in. And again, remember, the bump goes inward towards the rotor because that's how the sensor detects when it gets worn down. Okay, so these are all secure. Go ahead and put your guide bolts back in. These are 30 nanometers. When you torque them down into place, make sure to put the plastic caps back on. And then go ahead and plug in the connection for the motor itself. Goes back in here, it goes in until it clicks. Make sure you get it back into its little clip holder right here. So everything should be all back together on this side, with the exception of the little spring retention clip. So what I usually will do is I'll get the wings on each side. And I'm probably not gonna be able to do this one-handed, but get the wings on each side and then just press it back into place to get the hooks up and over into the holes here and here. And you'll know when it's in place because it'll be nice and secure. So go ahead and get that on. And at that point, you should be pretty much done. Now, as far as doing the rest, you're gonna, if you haven't done the other side yet, go ahead and go on and over and do the other side rear. It's gonna be the exact same thing minus the brake sensor cable, of course, but the motor is gonna be there, so you're gonna have to back that motor off. If you haven't done the other front yet, go ahead and do that. But if you've done them in order, so both fronts, and then go ahead and do the rears, and at that point, finish up. You're all done, good job. Okay, so one last look, y'all. The wheel is back on. The lug bolts are just snugged down. These are 140 Newton meters, and so I'm gonna torque them all down once all the wheels are on the ground. If you have any corners left to do, go ahead and finish those up. But if you are done, so go ahead and put the car back on the ground and then snug down your lugs. Good job. All right, y'all, if you've torqued your lug nuts down to 140 Newton meters, you should be good to go. Now, there is one step missing, and that is bedding your brake pads. Now, there are a million different opinions on how to bed your brake pads. I mean, I've read 9 or 10 different versions myself. So no, if you have a preferred way to do it, go for it. I'm not going to contradict you. Now, what I usually tend to do when I change my brake pads out is I'll take the car out in a safe place like my neighborhood or something similar, get up to about 35, brake all the way to a stop. Do that a couple of times, and that will help get that flat surface of your new brake pad grooved to the way that your rotors are after wear and tear over time. All right, so make sure to take care of that before you take it out on the freeway or have any really big stops, all right? So in addition to this, make sure to check your brake fluid reservoir, make sure that it's topped off. Check out another video that I have on how to bleed your brakes. It's not a bad idea to do, and usually when you take a car in for an oil change or something similar, they'll come back with a rating of your brake fluid of how much water in it if you need a bleed. I don't in this case, so I'm not going to do it. I've got another video for it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please make sure to click like and subscribe. It makes a genuine difference to my channel, and I would truly appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.